And thanks for being with us this evening. I'm Tim Seaman.
And I'm Sophie Erber. A massive explosion injuring thousands and killing at least 50 people in the Lebanese capital of Beirut.
And news reports from Lebanon attribute that blast to fireworks stored in a warehouse. But the devastation looks more like a war zone. ABC's Aaron Katersky shares the details in our top story tonight at 10.
A giant cloud formed over Beirut after an enormous explosion, the most powerful in the Lebanese capital in years. Those who took pictures of what at first seemed to be just a fire were rocketed back by the shock of the blast. Some people thought it was an earthquake. It left them dazed. Others were wounded or killed. The Prime Minister knew it was bad, declaring Wednesday a national day of mourning for the dead, even before the numbers were tallied. Windows shattered, balconies collapsed, the ground scarred gray and ashen. Damage is said to be extensive. The blast that shook Beirut occurred near the city's port, where buildings house chemicals and fireworks. There have been recent clashes between Hezbollah and Israel, but the Israelis said this was no act of war, even as grim images emerged from the scene that made it look like it could have been. The U.S. and France offered Lebanon assistance. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, New York.
Here locally, the Norfolk man facing several charges for the July shooting death of Haley Christensen is now facing an additional charge. 28-year-old Deshaun Gleaton is now facing witness tampering charges, this according to new court documents. Gleaton already is charged with first-degree murder and possession of a firearm by a felon. The charges are in connection to the shooting death of 29-year-old Christensen, whom Gleaton had a history of domestic abuse against. Gleaton is being held in the Madison County Jail without bond. And Sioux City police are asking for the public's help in identifying a suspect following reports of multiple broken windows. The suspect is described as a white man, possibly in his 20s, with ear-length hair. Officials say they are investigating broken windows at the Arby's and the Hardee's, both on Gordon Drive, on August 2nd. The next day, officers received a report that 3 windows are broken at the Sioux City Post Office. That's on Jackson Street. Anyone with information is now asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number there on your screen, 712-258-8477.
Body cameras will soon be worn by every Sioux City police officer, the department becoming the 3rd local agency to utilize that technology. Since 2016, deputies in the Woodbury County Sheriff's Department have used those cameras for patrol and jail officers. Chief Deputy Tony Wingert telling us that deputies have come to rely on these cameras.
It was a process to get it as smooth to where we're at today. Our staff has gotten to the point where I think if we try to take them away now, they would be upset. They have come to realize that this has helped them way more than ever hurting them.
South Sioux City police officers also wear those body cams. Meanwhile, Sioux City Council members unanimously approved the $260,000 technology upgrade that happened on Monday at City Council meeting. And those new cameras are expected here in Sioux City in the next couple of months. They should be on the streets later this fall.
Congressman Steve King today sat down with us here at KCAU. After more than 18 years in office, the 4th District representative telling us he's releasing a book about some of his recent experiences while serving the people of Iowa. He also covered topics such as the ongoing debate in Washington, D.C. tonight over that COVID-19 stimulus bill and the tri-state area's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. I also asked him about Governor Kim Reynolds' Return to Learn plan for Iowa's students, the debate here and also nationwide as to what the school year should look like amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Some school districts at odds with Governor Reynolds, who believes the children should be back in the classroom to start the year. The congressman says he agrees.
I'd like to see them go back to school, be in the social setting, and the teachers can make up their own decisions on this according to the risks that they are. And there may be some teachers that are in health conditions that it's too big a risk for them. Okay, make up your mind on that. But in most cases, I think it would be safe to put the children in school.
We have much more online. If you would like to watch the full interview, it's on our website right now at SiouxlandProud.com, or you can click on this story in the KCAU 9 News app.
As several large Iowa school districts announced that they may disregard state plans to return to the classroom and begin the year online, Governor Reynolds today making it clear that districts that don't follow her requirements or the state law are breaking the law.
Schools that choose not to return to school for at least 50% in-person instruction are not defying me. They're defying the law.
During a press conference today, Governor Reynolds saying that instructional time will not get credit for those hours if districts do not meet the 50% in-person learning criteria. It all comes after school districts in Des Moines and Urbandale have said that they will begin the fall semester online only. The governor reiterating that the bill was passed unanimously in the Iowa legislature. Well, with summer slowly coming to an end, school districts around Siouxland are finalizing their own return-to-learn plans, and that includes the Elk Point Jefferson School District.
And KCAU 9 News reporter Marina Bach tonight spent the day there learning what parents and students can expect on their first day of school.
The current state of the Return to Learn plan here at Elk Point Jefferson is at Tier 1. That'll be traditional in-person learning for students. They will be highly encouraged to wear masks as well as follow social distancing guidelines.
I am excited to get back, and I cannot wait for something to be normal again.
Nora Castaning is headed into her junior year at Elk Point Jefferson High School. It's not going to be a traditional school year for her and her classmates.
I know they're not requiring masks as of right now, but if they tell us to wear a mask, at least high school can. I know it'll be difficult for elementary and sometimes middle school to make kids wear masks, so.
But before the first bell rings on August 24th, teachers like Angela Pierce have a lot of work that still needs to be done.
So I've taken out some of the extra bookcases in my room, put my desk up against the wall, taken out anything that's not necessary so we have as much space as possible.
Limiting the opportunity for the virus to spread is also on her back-to-school to-do list.
I've been working on putting together like some kits and things that each of my 8th graders will have their own little bag that they'll get on the first day that has supplies for different labs for the first month probably.
Throughout the school year, Superintendent Barrio says keeping students connected through technology like Google Classroom will be critical.
Students that are, when they're in the building, utilizing Google Classroom, if they have to be quarantined or isolated and they're at home, they can still log on and be in Google Classroom. So there'll be lots of different methods of learning happening this year.
If an outbreak does occur, Barrio says learning online will be a smooth transition for both teachers and students.
We've got different options of what we could do for a hybrid model. Some students in the building, some students out of the building, certain grade levels. And then if cases get too bad, then we'd be Tier 4 or red, which would be just all virtual learning.
The district's finalized Return to Learn plan will be released on August 10th. That's going to be at the next school board meeting. But if a family is wanting to just go online learning this semester, they have to make that decision by the end of the week to administrators. And Elk Point, Marina Bach, KCAU 9 News.
And as the fall semester is quickly approaching, it's more important now than ever to know what your hometown school district is actually planning to do to keep students and staff safe this coming fall.
And that's why we've taken some time to create a special back-to-school page on our website. It's dedicated to the stories that impact Siouxland students, athletes, and teachers. And again, that's only on our website. That's SiouxlandProud.com under the Back to School tab. Time to get a quick update on the latest COVID-19 numbers from here in Siouxland, with district health officials reporting 9 new cases. That's from 73 total tests. And in Dakota County, Nebraska, just 3 new cases that reported by health officials there.
And from South Dakota, Clay County reporting 16 active cases and no new deaths, while Yankton officials report 8 active cases as well as 2 additional virus-related fatalities.
And while the virus has shut down many events and activities this year, the Sioux City Judo Club is once again in the classroom.
Oh, look at that.
The in-person sessions are set for Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 7 each night at the Longlines Family Rec Center. These judo classes have been suspended since March. Now, a variety of rules and changes in those class structures have been put in place to help protect participants, including changing out how practices play out.
We're going to go back to the basics and work on falling techniques and getting people back into some semblance of decent shape. So we're going to be spending probably a month just doing that. And then when people are finally working out with others, it'll primarily be people in their own family group that they'll be working out with. So they're already sharing germs.
Mackey also says that masks will be worn at all times, hand sanitizer is available, and those mats that they use will be cleaned after each session.
The June Eden Island Cancer Center is launching a new project now to help stop skin cancer across Siouxland. They're offering free sunscreen dispensers to golf courses and pools in the tri-state area. According to the American Cancer Society, melanoma was in the top 5 of cancer diagnoses in Iowa, Nebraska, and in South Dakota in 2019. If you'd like, you could find the full story on the sunscreen dispensers right now. It's on our website. Again, that's SiouxlandProud.com, or check out this story on our mobile news app.
It's a pretty good idea. The golf course especially. Still a lot of folks will be playing the next several weeks.
Absolutely, you included. And,
yeah, indeed.
And with these warm temperatures and the heat index, you know, obviously you want to stay hydrated, but also protect your skin. I know I forget to put on sunscreen often. I don't burn as easy.
Sometimes it's easier than wearing a hat or doing something like that.
Nice they're putting these out.
Today, Scott, folks able to put on some sunscreen because there was some sun out there. Another pretty decent day.
Oh, yeah.
Right, we had sunny skies. Temperatures weren't all that hot this afternoon. The high temperature in Sioux City was able to step up to 77 degrees. It really felt great. It is going to get hotter, though, this weekend as we look outside here on the Ho-Chung Center camera in downtown Sioux City. Temperatures are comfortable still in the 60s and 70s for most. It is now 70 degrees in Yankton, 67 in Sioux Falls. We're checking in with a temperature of 68 in Sioux City and 70 degrees to the south in Omaha. Meanwhile, the temperature has fallen to 59 degrees in Storm Lake, Iowa. So again, just feeling great outside. Another nice night to be able to open up the windows. The wind is from the southeast now. We have it sustained between 5 and 15 miles per hour at 8 in Orange City as well as Spencer. Right now at 3 miles per hour in Yankton, and it has been a bit breezier out to the west, 13 miles per hour in O'Neill, and now at 12 in Norfolk. Here's a check of our radar situation now. You can see that some strong thunderstorms have happened in parts of South Dakota. Those continue to move from northwest to southeast, and just to the west of Highway 81 is where we have most of the activity contained at this time. We'll zoom in closer. You can see that we have some areas of heavy rainfall just north of Niobrara there and extending through most of Knox County in Nebraska near Creighton, and then further south we also have some heavy downpours that are happening in Antelope County, spreading east into parts of Pierce and Madison counties just to the west of Norfolk. So we do have some heavy rainfall in spots, but this is going to continue to shift to the east and encounter some drier air and likely to fall apart. Out to the west, though, where we did have some more potential for severe weather, you can see that there were actually a couple of tornadoes that dropped in southeastern South Dakota, and also some large hailstones north of Ainsworth in northern Nebraska there. You can see that's east of Valentine. So again, this was all out of our neck of the woods, but we were tracking some stronger thunderstorms as those were moving in from the west. Relative humidity values now, you can see that those are in the 60 and 70% range, so really not favoring heavy rainfall in Siouxland tonight. Again, the air is a little too dry to be able to successfully get most of those raindrops to the ground, but that line of showers is continuing to try to move into Siouxland from west to east, and we will be on the lookout for a handful of showers and storms continuing through tonight. Going into tomorrow, we can expect the radar to clear out pretty fast, and it looks like we'll have dry conditions for most of the day. A cold front looks to trigger a few additional thunderstorms as we go into tomorrow evening and continuing into our Thursday morning. So once we get past that boundary, it looks like we'll have some more sunshine, and actually it'll become hotter as we get into the weekend with some drier air taking hold once more. Tonight out of the west, then, there is a marginal risk of severe weather, and as we advance the clock into tomorrow, you can see that we have a marginal risk mainly to the north. So we're talking about 1 or 2 storms that could create some large hail and damaging winds. Not really a widespread threat, but again, a few thunderstorms for tonight with a low temperature of 59 degrees and south and southeast winds between 5 and 10 miles per hour. And tomorrow it'll be dry for the majority of the day. We'll just have a mix of sun and clouds, but then toward the evening, we'll see another round of thunderstorms crop up with a high temperature of 81 in the afternoon. It's also going to be quite breezy tomorrow with winds from the south gusting as high as 30 miles per hour. 86, the high temperature on Thursday. Partly cloudy skies expected here as we end the work week on Friday with a high temperature of 89. Continuing through the remainder of the weekend, you can see that we're going to have some hot weather take hold in Siouxland. Lots of humidity too, so high temperatures right around 93 degrees both Saturday and Sunday. But when you take into account the humidity, it's really going to feel like it's close to the triple digits. So make sure that you are putting on that sunscreen this weekend. And overnight low temperatures are also going to be around 70 degrees, so no chances to really open up the windows like what we've had recently. Moving through next week, it looks like we'll gradually cool things off. High temperatures dropping off to about 90 degrees Wednesday and Thursday. Tim and Sophie?
Thanks a lot. At least those nighttime temperatures seem cooler, some relief from the daytime highs.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks a lot. Well, many folks diligently sort their recyclables, but for some Iowans, redeeming their cans for cash has gotten a lot harder now.
how local can redemption centers have adjusted to that influx of customers. Well, that coming up in just a bit. But first, the census takes place once every 10 years. But this year's count is being cut short. How COVID-19 is impacting the 2020 census. Next.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Tim Seaman, Sophie Erber, Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson, and Sports Director Jake Jones. This is KCAU 9 News at 10.